I went to uni and I was brought up in a fairly sort of standard way, if you like. I didn't really go to church or have any experience of sort of church type activities. And the only experience I had been through school or through the occasional times I've gone with family. But I found it quite a non-spiritual place, just a place where people seem to go because their friends did. But went to uni and picked up on the culture there, really, of this kind of idea that you make your own reality and got to believe in yourself. And I was sort of into spiritual things. I knew that there was a spiritual need and a spiritual aspect to life. You can sense that as a person. You can sense that there's this world we live in is amazing and far beyond anything we can comprehend. I kind of thought that the universe was all part of some great spirit, but no one ever knew, could ever know what it is, and that it was impersonal. But as time went by, just became more apparent to me the emptiness of that. That if there was no sort of personal God, then I started to understand there was suffering around, and there was that in the end you died. I knew deep down that there was it was all pretty pointless. I used to always get quite scary nightmares. I always had them since being a child, and one night I woke up from one of these nightmares. It was the middle of the night and I was just aware of the just great fear that I knew that one day it was all going to be taken away. And I remember that I sort of cried out, well, not cried out, but I said, just in my head, I prayed, I suppose. I said, Jesus, you know, I don't know if you exist or not, but you've got to help me. Then after that, I kind of went back to sleep. I'd just been to a job, and I was driving back to it, and I kind of remembered the dream I'd had, and I knew I had this sort of like deep down feeling of something wrong, and I felt like being hugged. It was this sort of strong sense of being hugged by someone, like being spoken to, like being told, it's all right, Tony, everything's all right. You can come back now. Just come back home. It's all right. Just go to church on Sunday. You'll see what I mean. It wasn't an audible voice or anything. It was just this sense, and I was overcome with it, really. I was riding along, and I was quite moved, and sort of filling up really in the helmet, which I'm sure is not an ideal way to ride a motorbike. To say I'd not had any inkling of going to church, or it was completely out of the blue, and I'd always been quite vehemently anti-Christian. Used to like having debates with them and showing them where they were going wrong. All these Christians with these ideas that were obviously false, and then I discovered in that moment that they were true, and I knew at that point there was never going to be any going back. And so on the Sunday we went along, and I was very nervous. I thought it was going to be my experience of church when I'd been younger, and I was thinking, oh no, this is not going to work. But opened the doors, and that same spirit was there, that same sense, and there was just a profound sense of having come home. I spoke to the vicar and I said about what had happened on the motorbike. He said, yeah, that's the Holy Spirit, that is. And they put Debbie and me on an Alpha course. So and the Alpha course was really good. It gave us a great sort of introduction and foundation. There were so many things that were misunderstood or didn't know, because the message given out about Christianity was so different from what I discovered it to be.
None of my family are Christians, so it was more a case that I decided that I wanted to go to church. But it was great that we were always encouraged to make our own decisions, basically. One of the biggest influences in terms of getting to know God better, I think I always knew that He was there, was a good friend at primary school who was just really open with me and just invited me to her church, and I went on a camp with her when we were 11, and just kind of was really honest with me about different things, and then I actually asked my mum to take me along to my local church when I was about 8. Kind of enjoyed church and everything that came with it. I knew God was there and prayed and everything, but I don't think I ever really made a commitment as such until I was invited to like a residential camp. Yeah, kind of got to the point where I was like, oh, actually, I do need to make a decision about this. One of the things that stays with me actually is I remember that everyone was kind of worshipping in this like evening meeting, and just looking at them and thinking, I really want that, whatever it is they've got, I want that for myself. So I chatted to one of the youth leaders, and she prayed with me, and it was kind of that point where I just kind of made a decision to really live for God and let Him kind of be in my life properly. I did my GCSEs and my A-levels, and then knew that I wanted to take a year out, and was just trying to think of what I could do. I kind of deferred my entry to university, so I had the time, but I still didn't really know what I was going to do by about April of the year before I started. But I knew it was right to have that time, and then something all came together with working for Youth for Christ, who I'd been involved with as a young person. It's possibly one of the lowest times in my relationship with God during that year, but it just meant that I was able to just really, I don't know, cry out to Him and be honest with friends and people who could support me and pray with me and stuff. So I think I really needed that year to develop and grow as a person and in my relationship with God. So my life hasn't quite turned out in the way that I expected it in some ways, but I've had the opportunity to travel and see the amazing places, and I'm so thankful that I've been allowed to do that, God's allowed me to see all these places. I've got amazing friends who are just so important to me and just really help me with my walk with God as well, just by being there for me, praying with me and for me, giving me advice, telling me to shut up when I need it. And just, I guess, being part of Queen Street as well has been really significant. Being a part of the youth group leadership team, and just being part of people's families really, and just having that connection with a community in Chester has been one of the main things that has kept me here really. Yeah, we've just come onto the walls because I love walking on here when I can, just doing a circuit of the walls. I think because it's physically above the city, I enjoy just looking down at the city, but also, without sounding too corny, it just like allows me to have a different perspective on things sometimes, and just sort through thoughts and fears and worries and just pray about everything. So I really enjoy coming up here as and when I can, and just having a bit of a prayer walk.